Ethan would.
Wrinkles at them, but.
Right.
And Ethan will keep the hay harvest, the custom harvesting business. But out that side of that, Steve's like,
Done and done.
yep, I'd
Wow.
love to see him move out here. But, you know, he's the only one right there in town with my mom, so hope he stays a while.
I don't think we're quite ready to do that yet.
Well, he's a lot older than you are, though.
No.
He's,
Somebody'd be flipping over in their grave if I did that.
oh, I bet he would. I was looking through my monument book the other day that I have samples of to sell. Open at the cemetery.
Yeah, you can get it anytime. Yeah.
Because that's all that you do these days.
Here we go again.
God, some white got mad at her.
Yesterday I had to turn it on and.
What's the
It says it's recording.
completely rewired.
But,
Way that
policy
easy
runs,
to
but
Oh,
I'll go to my house and just
Oh, okay.
he's so soft spoken.
Yes, he is.
different conversation. Thoughts on it. But
Look at this damn thing.
Once you get out of it, you don't want to get out.
I was out
Don't
by
try
the
sitting up straight. You'll be asleep.
stuff out.
I already
Did you have the temporary concrete plant is down?
Better.
I wasn't even thinking that he was gonna be here.
Surprises by getting those big mounds.
Like the
He's
fill dirt and whatever all they've got out there. So
can't get up as early.
yeah, that could be.
See this?
It's usually
Claiborne,
Are we trying to change the verbiage?
he said he's got a problem with one of them.
Something about an EV.
Yeah.
Like they want to use it? Does that mean they want us to reduce it?
Well, he said it was recorded, but it was never signed. So,
Interesting.
yeah. That's what he said. He said, I might have a problem with that one, he said.
I just
So, trying to find a doggone.
to have that discussion.
Hey, Chad?
Chad, yes.
Maintain that. My question is. I think it was drainage.
Is this what we're talking about right now? The
So
pre-meeting?
The meeting before the meeting.
A pre-meeting to
Yeah.
avoid any.
That's pretty cool there up there. They started setting steel on the first
At that
floor.
time.
You just, that's what.
I just think it was one of these things that's strange.
Steel structure, so
Yeah,
yeah, they got the crane out there setting them in. So it said it takes 6 weeks to set the steel per floor.
Left-hand side.
So it's
Oh, they're
crazy.
I told them to come because we here when we just passed
It's
the.
on my agenda. I can't ever since we went to that new Microsoft deal, I hated it.
I don't like Microsoft for nothing.
It just, I sat here and tried to pull up the actual agenda here.
Really think it,
I mean,
I'm a Google and Apple guy.
it don't do anything.
other than just
So,
a.
and the thing is, we did the same thing at work. I mean, I'm totally lost everywhere on YouTube.
I said,
So, but yeah, it just,
It's supposed to be better, right? It's always supposed to be better.
hell, I can't even find half my files that I actually have. So, I tell you,
no, but it's going to have to come before somebody on board to
got a
get
few people here today.
better that.
Yeah. Hopefully not for us, just for you.
They're just for us.
And And it's again, it's a consistent
Big day.
when
Not really.
change like that. So
Our day looks
Typical
real
day.
easy. Our morning.
It really, I mean,
Total.
well, we never say never.
Yeah.
Simply because we've had a meeting that just a little bit ended up going 4 hours, and all of a sudden we have a long one, and boom, we're done. We're
not
working with
recording either?
it. We're trying to speed everything up for our meeting because
Be in the.
I mean we have all the information beforehand. There's not a lot of talking going on,
Right.
or needed anyway. So we've gotten better.
If not, I'd have it as.
With her weight in gold, isn't she? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, let me do this.
So it was operator error this time.
I recognize the one.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Thank you.
Giant blessing.
You guys ready?
We are recording.
We're going to call our meeting in the Hancock County Board of Commissioners to order. Today is November 4th, and the time is 8:05. This meeting is being recorded and streamed for public viewing. By participating, you acknowledge that your image, voice, and comments may be captured and made publicly available. This meeting's also been properly noticed in accordance with Indiana Code 514-1.5. Let the record show a quorum of commissioners is present. The commissioners are open for business. We will now proceed with our agenda. And at this time, I'd like to invite all in attendance to stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you have the agenda for the past meeting, meeting minutes?
I've not been able to pull them up here.
Here. And if we can get a motion for,
Make a motion to approve the minutes for 10/7/25 and executive meeting on 10/20/25 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. And then a motion to recess.
Make a motion to recess meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We recess our meeting for Drainage Board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
I don't want anybody to hear me. We'll call the November 4th Drainage Board meeting to order. Do I have a motion to approve the October minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. We approve the October minutes from the previous meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
All right, well, let's do our claims real quick. So you have claims there for 10/22 and 11/5. Some log jams, some debris and different things. We had a couple blowholes. Farmers are getting in the fields, so starting to move some of those along. Yard repair off of Sweet Creek, which was, we were waiting for it to settle. Questions on any of the things here?
Do I have a motion to approve the claims?
I have I'll make a motion to approve claims as presented.
Second.
All those in favor of approving claims as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, so first one I want to take is Gateway Park West, for those, see the screen there. So we are talking about the Gateway building that is in Gateway Park. If you see the red line there, that is the current regulated drain that they have, which is under their pavement and going around for where they are. And what they are doing, and I'll show you both here. So the first is, this is a rendering of that building. Here is the original building that is there. They are adding on to this building here on this side. This is the normal parking lot that is there right now. So that regulated drain is running right underneath where this building is going to be as it goes through there. And so what they are coming to the drainage board, since they are the sole owner of that parcel and that piece of property that is there, they are looking to as we go flat, this is the area that's the drainage easement. They are looking to vacate the regulated drain that is running through here. They will remove that and fill it with lift and things that goes through there, and then they will relocate that regulated drain out and around that building now through the new parking lot so that it runs out through it's there. So for them to move along, they have to vacate that regulated drain and then relocate it, and all at their own cost for what it's there. Any questions on that?
I'm lost on where you're doing this at, on the backside of the existing building?
Yes, on the Zach side of Gateway. So right here is the building right now as it sits for Gateway. And probably bring it up on here. So here's the building that's here.
Okay.
They are going to create a building right here
Gotcha.
on this side, and a
Okay.
improvement. And then, then this is going to actually move out to here on the parking lot in this.
Okay, because the rendering showed the building way closer to the circle. That's why I was getting confused.
Correct.
Like
Well,
there's a
the
new
rendering is the rendering.
Is there another circle going in?
They are going to, yes, they are going
Okay.
to. So here, originally, they have this circle here.
Gotcha.
It's still going to be there. This road currently, right now, dead ends at this spot.
Okay.
So as they come around, they have to put another circle in here to move
Gotcha.
things up and around. So
Makes
yeah.
sense now.
Yes.
Look good to you?
Yeah, it looks good to me. I don't have any issues with it.
Question for Harold. Is it the same ownership? Is it going to a new parcel? Is it still owned, same ownership? It is? Okay.
Yeah.
So you can do that with the motion without having a public hearing?
What, a motion to vacate?
No. My opinion, it would be a motion to relocate pursuant to those plans, because it's gonna hook up still around, right? It's just moving it, so.
But they still have to vacate the easement that is
Yeah.
currently there for the
So then
original.
two motions.
Yes.
Relocate and then vacate the easement.
Doesn't
And
matter
the
which one
easement
comes
moves
first.
with,
The easement will move to the new easement that is on the plat. What'll be there.
It needs to be real clear in the minutes, we're not vacating the drain. We're just vacating that easement and relocating it.
Correct.
Make a motion then that we approve the vacation of the easement as presented by the surveyor.
Second.
Okay.
but properly moved and seconded that we vacate the easement at the Hancock Gateway Park. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And I would make a motion that, to approve the relocation of that regulated drain as presented.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we relocate the drain at the Hancock Gateway Park as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Yep, all right.
Bye, Harold.
Harold, all right, so I want to move, we're going to skip the next one on the agenda. I want to save that one for a minute. We're going to go to the Thomas Vale arm of the Hansberry. So this is around McCord Cemetery. So this was the reconstruction of this ditch as we went around the cemetery here. And I wanted to share with you a couple of things with that. One, the job is, for all intents and purposes, complete, and wanted to show you, some pictures, what this looks like now. So here is the bank across. This is 600 West. This is the bank with the cemetery. For where it is as we go through there. Another picture of that bank as it works down through. As it's going underneath. Here's it's coming around. This is that two-stage ditch. So this is, originally there was a bank that ran up here and ran around. So now there is a ledge that comes through here, which will take some of this water. So it's higher than the normal ledge that's here. And then a bank that'll come up here on this side. So this will hold some of this water on this side to help dissipate some of the force that comes on. And this water is flowing towards us in this picture for where we're at. Here's the bend as it goes around the corner. And here's looking down to 750 North. Letters did a phenomenal job with it. And I don't know, Mark, if you've seen it while it's up there.
Yeah, looks fantastic.
I think it looks really good. They actually did a really good job of not really doing much to the trail that was there too. They did good care of trying to stay off of that as they went through that. So I wanted the board to see that as that came through there, as that got done. And Mike has submitted his bid, his bill for the bid, the $251,100 as in the bid packet. There were 3 change orders that we will need to get approved. One was in this area here. So this pipe right here is the outlet to the pond that goes back into McCord Square here. That goes into there, which is where the ditch is, where it's there. There is another pipe that kind of comes through here and runs to the north. I think it goes all the way up to those where Subway is and those things that are up in that area. It was all the way back here in the middle of the bank. And so in the original plans, it was going to come out here. And we decided that that wasn't going to be a good idea. So we added an extension and turned it so that it runs out into this rock channel and then makes its way to the ditch, which I think is going to really help that side for where it goes from there. The second thing of a change order was access. They had to build a ramp here off of 750. In the original plans, we thought we could come in off of 600 West and come in, but there was a curb that was there. The town preferred that we didn't cut the curb that was newly done there, and so they had to build a ramp to get onto here for where this is at. And then the third is there, if you are familiar with the area that is here, right here, originally on this side of the bank, there was an old house that sat there. We used to call it the snake house, I guess is the best way to say that. The gentleman there had some live animals and different things that were there. In the side of this hill was his septic tank, which we didn't know was there. So they used a vac truck, got all this stuff out of the inside of that, threw some stuff in the middle of it, took the tank out. So that was an added expense that was there. So before you is the bills. One, to pay the invoice per the bid of the $251,100. And then there are the 3 change orders. One for the construction drive, which was around $9,000, $86.97. And then a change order for the septic tank, which was $2,062. And and move the riprap and change the pipe of $2,785. Remember, these are all going to be paid by the RDC or REDC through money they have set aside for this, but we have to approve the change orders from the original bid. Submit bills to them.
Did you calculate the total of the 3 change orders, Chad? I mean, I'm going to do that right now. I just didn't.
Corey, did you do it off the top of your head? He had sent it to me originally, but we figured from a billing standpoint, it would be better to do it individually, but it is, let's see, 48, 12, 13,000.
13,544.
That sounds right.
We just need a motion to approve the change orders
Change orders and then to release the
and another motion to release the payment.
Make a motion that we approve the invoices for the Stansberry Schultz change order, number 1, 2, and 3, totaling $13,544.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the change orders as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes.
I make a motion that we release for payment the labor bill for the Stansberry Schultz stabilization in McCordsville in the amount of $251,100.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we release the payments as presented for the Stansberry Schultz drain. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes.
All right, so next one I would have moved to is we're going to move to the Claiborne. So here we go, 500 North. So there's, I guess, two things for this one. One, there's going to be, I guess, no formal action from you guys today. The developers are here from Claiborne, also the town of McCordsville. This will be a subdivision that's up here in the area. This is 700 West, 500 North. It's going to come in up here in this pink area here. It's going to outlet south of 500 North, proposing to go all the way over here to the side to this area, and then it goes south, and then it goes into the East 70 Logistics Center. There is a easement that was granted by the people who did this subdivision, or this group of buildings in 2021, 30-foot drainage easement that was given to the commissioners. I don't know if it was ever accepted by the commissioners, but it was given to the commissioners, so that'll be something a little later today we'll hopefully talk about. And to use access for drainage to come down this way. If I remember correctly, it was the thought process behind it was all these properties to the north don't have a good outlet for where they're at. So they have a place to tie into. But the easement states that, you know, they granted that access to the commissioners, that anything put in there would have to go through them to get there. So that'll be something that will have to be approved for the commissioners to get there. But for this board, the question will be, traditionally when a subdivision comes in, the pipes or the outlet that go to the regulated drain or to the ditch become regulated drain, okay, for where they're at. The issue that we run into is that the town of McCordsville will have everything up here, inside here, and their pipe outlet that comes here. There's a private easement that they're proposing with inland people that will come through here. And then this is the one that's owned by the commissioners that comes here and comes down, which they could petition to make that regulated drain. The issue is it empties into a private system here at East 70 Logistics, which then runs through their ponds here and then goes out to the Manford J. Okay, so everybody following me so far for where we're at? Okay, so the concern and the question then is if they petition this to become a regulated drain, how do we handle that when we don't control the outlet to that drain? Okay, we have situations where they, you know, off-site where people come through, but all of those end up into the drain so we can control the whole aspect of what goes through there. I know the town, as well as us, is very concerned of making sure that gets contained and that it gets maintained for where it's at, but we also want to make sure that we work together and it does get maintained. I think it's the best interest of everybody to have that to happen. The question is, especially for this board, if they bring a petition in for this to become regulated drain, is would the board be open to having the discussion of allowing this to be regulated drain through here, even though it outlets into a private system? That makes sense? So that you don't control the outlet. And so you're not making any formal action today because they are not bringing that to you, but would like to have maybe just a little bit of discussion on that going forward of what the feel of the board is from that standpoint. Now, these pipes and things through this development are in drainage easements. Okay, so when we had them do them, they are in drainage easements, but they are not, it's still privately owned for where it's at from that standpoint.
So what other options do we have?
Well, one option is to continue to allow it just to be private and to allow them to maintain that pipe as it goes down through there and goes through, because it would be not, from the drainage board standpoint, not taking it on as a regulated drain, just allowing it to be a private drain, and they would maintain that for where it's at. Okay. The other issue that you run into with that is that easement was originally put in to help these properties to the north. This corner here is being developed right now. A lot of that water, I believe, is going to the roundabout and then going over. Is that correct, Mark?
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Just Mark Wetzman, I'm the town engineer. From the town's perspective on this, it's our opinion that this storm sewer should be controlled by the public. We don't want to leave it to be maintained, especially considering that currently it's being proposed that it would just carry the flow from Claiborne, but there's additional ground to the east that will develop and ultimately tie into this. So we don't think it should be private. It should be either the county or the town that takes care of the storm sewer. So,
okay. Yes. And then the question would be whether this board wanted to allow it to become a regulated drain and take care of it, or it would be taken care of by the commissioners from that standpoint, which I imagine would come under their road thing for what they do from that standpoint. So I guess it would help the developers and the people that are, oh, there they are. Okay, there's Lance, is that they have a little bit of direction going forward. So from this board, if you are open to saying, hey, we would be okay with taking it as a regulated drain and allowing it to come down to this point to take care of that, that would help them going forward for what they need to do. If you would say, hey, no, we really wouldn't want to take it as a regulated drain, then they know that it would be then they would come to the commissioners and the town to talk about how that would be maintained from that standpoint. So we're kind of checking off things as we go through there, trying to get a feel for the board of where your thoughts are from that process as you go through.
Have there been conversations with the private landowners, with the private
Yes,
drain?
they have worked with this private landowner the whole time in all their development, all their calculations, everything that they're doing. And so the amount of water and everything that's going in there will work that's in there. They're actually, the pipe that they're proposing to put in through here is a very large pipe. It's a 48-inch pipe. So it is sized. So they're actually putting in the infrastructure for anybody that ties into the north up here in this area up here, which will probably be the next place that develops. For them to tie into that and take that water through. And these people, they have been very accommodating of what they want to do, and they're actually buying an easement from them on this side, correct, to tie into it. So they are, we're getting an easement from them to tie into that. So they are very, very open to working with and making sure that it's for the betterment of the entire area as it goes through there. Best way to say that, Lance.
Not to put you on the spot, Chad, but
Sure.
I mean, what's your professional opinion?
Well, ultimately, it's the board's decision. The only concern that I have is that you're creating a spot regulated drain for where you're at, where you don't control the outlet. That, to me, that becomes a little bit of a quandary. I don't have any problems with fixing the pipe that's here. The question then becomes, if something does happen, this changes ownership or whatever down here, obviously you can get in there with a drainage easement and do different things, but it's a lot longer and bigger process if they don't automatically get into fixing what they need to fix. And with it being, big boxes and for where they're at, sometimes those all depend on the economy. Being honest, they all depend on the economy. If there's economy's moving well and there's people in there, they want to maintain things and get them where they're at. If the economy's not good, then you've got a piece of ground that I'm not sure they're going to maintain really well for where they're at. They have obligations to do that, but depending on who it's owned by and where they're at, how fast they're going to do that. In the present day, for where we're at, the people that are there, the things that are going on, I think it would work out very well for what we're doing. In the future, I don't know. And you can't make all your decisions based upon the future, but from that same standpoint, that's why this is before this board, because it'll be in perpetuity for what we want, what you would like to be able to do from that standpoint going forward to maintain that. I know it's in the best interest of the town to have this maintained. We all do, so there's pressure that can be put on these people if something were to happen or if we needed to get in there to fix something. But just making sure that when you lose control of something at some point, that's where it makes it a little bit difficult sometimes.
And then, so what you're saying is we need to have it remain a regulated drain.
Well, you can make it a regulated drain that comes through there. The problem is this area down through here where it ties into is not a regulated drain. And
So
it's
no
not
outlet.
going to become a regulated drain.
So looking at the big picture, everything south of that subdivision someday will be developed. So you're gonna, and not knowing the topography of that area is very flat, but is the watershed going south or north?
So here, I'll turn it on for you. How's that? So the watershed here comes all into here for where we're at. So
South.
yes, it comes south.
Okay.
Originally, we would have liked for this parcel up here to go south this way to catch this tile and come through
Exactly,
here.
that's what I was thinking.
But there has been complications with trying to go that way.
As
in
far
that
as,
it is cheaper and easier and works better for them to go this way and construct a 48-inch tile to benefit all the people up here.
not if we don't control the outlet.
Right.
Correct. So,
And it does no good to have a regulated drain with no outlet.
correct. I'm not disagreeing with you from that standpoint.
So if it's our responsibility to drain that, then we need to figure out a way to have an outlet.
Or you don't take it on as a regulated drain and let the commissioners take it.
So I just saw the easement, and then I brought Scott into this because the easement actually was granted to the county commissioners in 2021. So it's not regulated drain right now. We have no obligation to
Correct.
maintain it or anything. So it's, the question I think from the town and the developer is, and ultimately maybe a question for the commissioners is whether they approve of this easement. But right now, it's not, that portion of it's not a regulated drain. So we have no statutory authority to do anything with it.
Right. The question is whether if they bring a petition to make it a regulated drain, whether we would be open to that or not. And so that's the question.
Open to putting it into a private system.
To making this area from here to here a regulated drain, correct?
No.
Yeah, I don't think we want to lose control over
Okay.
our drain. I mean, everybody, says, well, it could change if this changes ownership, and it's usually not if, it's when it happens, and then we'll be in a quandary. And when I hear you talk and I hear Mark talk, if what I'm hearing is that's the way to go, is to make it a regulated drain, that we have control over the outflow of that drain.
Right. But all I'm saying is if they make this a regulated drain, we would not have the control over the outlet. Okay? Just
And that
because
could
it's coming
create
into the
big
private
problems,
system.
right?
Correct. That's theoretically. The ponds that are down there are in easements, which gives people the right to, it would become, really it would become a mutual drain at that point as those come through there, which is another whole conversation. And then so you have the right to go in and clear a blockage or do something from that standpoint. There's just more steps that are involved with that. And then where you're getting the money to do that and all that aspect. But
Is it possible to make the private drains a regulated drain?
the
Outlet part of it?
the landowners down here would have to make those that way. And here is it has been the stance of this board for years, and it would be mine is it runs through 3 ponds.
Oh, yeah.
And this board has decided not to take ponds on, which I do not disagree with at all. I think that is the smart way to do that. But that's the issue, that it would run down through the ponds that gets down through there. So I guess from the question for the developer and for the town and for everybody that's involved is that if they wanted to make this a regulated drain, would you be open to making that a regulated drain? If not, that's fine. Then they know then they have to walk through the other steps with the commissioners to utilize this and then come down through there for where that's at.
Do you need a motion?
No, I just need, I guess, need to have an understanding from the board, so as they move forward, whether it would be prudent for them to come back here if it gets approved by the commissioners.
My opinion is I would not vote for a drain that does not have an outlet.
Okay.
That we control.
That we
control, yeah.
Because that has an outlet, it's just private. And
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I think
Okay.
the other commissioners feel that way.
Okay. Okay. All right. So there you go. There's for that standpoint. And so the other part will come back through at the commissioner meeting, if you're okay with that later today, to talk about that.
Sure.
We need to get.
Yes, we
a
can
copy
get,
of
we
that
can get him a copy of that easement. And as soon as we get done here, I'll get him a copy and then we'll go through there because I have it in here. Okay. So one more thing. So, and I'll bring this up. It's not on your agenda, but I will bring it up on the agenda. So I had a petition come into my office. We had this conversation at the last drainage board a little bit. So I had a petition come into my office for, and here I'll bring it up to you, for a blockage, removal of an obstruction on a mutual drain. And let me change the map here so you can see where we are actually. This way, 'cause I have it. All right. So we are Fortville Pike, 700 North. Mr. Bob Scherstedt owns the property up here to the north with the pond. There is a private mutual drain that runs down here through here where these red dots are, or black dots, and goes all the way down to the bottom. It goes down here to the Cahill Shores regulated drain through here. Mr. Scherstedt had put a petition in where he was claiming that his pond was backing up in heavy rains, causing major erosion on the banks and flooding, and he believes that there's a blockage south of him in the property to the south. So our office went and investigated, as is the code to go do that. There's a riser up here at Mr. Scherstedt's right outside his pond. There's a riser here in the Berza property to the south, another riser here, one out in the middle of this field, and then the outlet that is down here at the ditch. After we investigated and went through the process of doing all those for where we're at, I will show you some pictures and give you my report, which I think from code, I don't have to give a report if I don't find an obstruction, but I wanted to give a report anyways. So here is a picture of the outlet at the ditch. There's a corrugated metal pipe at the end. As you can see, part of it's falling apart, but that's not a big issue for where it's at. But as you can see back up in this pipe, it is pretty clear. There's nothing in there as we go. The first riser north, or actually this is the riser at the far north. They cut a triangle in the riser for where it's at. There is about an inch of water in the bottom of this for where it's at. Okay, and this is near the north end. This is the riser next to the house. There is actually no water in this tile at all. And then this is the riser in the middle of the field. And as you can tell, this is a single wall pipe. The water is just at the bottom of the rivets for where it's at. So it's just holding the water that doesn't move through in a corrugated pipe. If it's a solid wall pipe like this riser is, obviously that water wouldn't sit there, it would continue to move. It's just holding the water that was holding in the rivets for where it's at. So up here at Mr. Schersted's, he has a little riser here coming out of his pond. The water in his pond is a little bit higher. He has about 3 inches in here. There's an inch here. There is no water in that riser, water just in here. And then this outlet is about 28 inches above grade, and it comes out into the ditch there. And it is free flowing and nothing coming out of it as today for where we're at. So from my standpoint, I actually did create a report for you. And the report was that we have observed that and there, and I have physically observed no obstructions with the mutual drain. Okay, so the petition kind of goes away from that standpoint for where it's at. That there is no obstruction that we can see that is causing things to back up for there. I just think in the large rain events, there's a lot of water that runs through there. And from that end standpoint, the other thing that's interesting about that is that here is a picture of that map, older picture of that map. 700 north, this is Schersted's pond. He's now put this pond in, so this pipe is no longer here. This was the original of when they built it. That comes down through here. There was the riser here, big riser out in the middle of the field here, and into the ditch. The difference is you have a 10-inch tile that's coming in here, 12-inch tile coming in here. There's a lot of water that comes into this, where it's at. I just think it gets overloaded for where it's at. It's a private drain that happens to be that, but there is no obstruction for that. So I wanted to let you know that from that standpoint, but that leaves us to the question that we had at the last meeting, that when we get these petitions for obstructions, the code allows us to create a fee to process from the petitioner to actually go and investigate these. We were able to do this with tape measures and probes and cameras and just walking, which really was not a large, really no expense other than our time to go do that. Doesn't mean that on other situations and other things that are there that we wouldn't have to do other things, dig up a tile, look at it, maybe put a camera in it, different things from the standpoint, especially if there's some water sitting up in a tower for wherever it's at. So I wanted to bring to the board of whether we want to approve creating a fee, a petition fee for a mutual drain. So that way we can do those things. This is the second petition that we have gotten this year on this. And it's funny because I can only find one other petition in the last 20 years that actually went through. So, you know, it's happening more now, and the reason I think it's happening a little bit more now is for the climate of the situation that we have in the world. People just don't get along as much anymore.
Can't talk to their neighbor.
So either they can't or they won't, and people believe and have a feeling that if it's on my property, I'll do with it whatever I want, even if it affects other people. And so that's my opinion, but that's what I'm seeing more and more. We used to be able to go out and talk to a lot of people and get a lot of things resolved, and we still do get some resolved. But we're getting more and more where people are filing first and then asking questions second, or just giving a minimal of trying to figure it out and then wanting somebody else to make the decision for them. So I guess what I'm asking the board is, would you like to create a motion to create a fee, petition fee for looking at an obstruction to a regulated drain? Other counties that are around have this. The most I've seen at any county is $1,000. Go look at that. Now, I will tell you, depending on what you have to do and what you have to look at, that's not a lot. But that at least puts a little bit of the skin in the game of the petitioner who's coming in.
He may go talk to his neighbor.
He may go talk to his neighbor a little bit more other than spending that $1,000. But if he doesn't, then he pays that $1,000 and we utilize that money for where it's at.
So that $1,000 is the mark that you're.
That's what I'm looking at. I think that would be a good number.
Before you go there, I would ask the board to entertain, accept that report, and then send a letter to Mr.
Scherstedt
that there were no findings of an obstruction and no action is going to be taken by the
I make a motion that Drainage Board accepts the report from the petition.
For sure.
Sure. And Chad, go ahead and notify the petitioner.
A second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the report and notify the landowner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
To establish a filing fee for the mutual, whatever you're.
I make a motion that we establish a filing fee for mutual drains as presented. $1,000.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we establish a filing fee for mutual drains for $1,000. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next month, remember, we are on the Monday of the 1st of December instead of that Tuesday. We have a night hearing right now for that. That may or may not happen. The one landowner is moving along really well of trying to alleviate the blockage that is there. The question is whether the petitioners are going to remove their petition and take good faith that they are going to remove it.
Is this Cranberry?
Cranberry. So,
What time of that night meeting?
6:30. 6:30 is the night meeting on that Tuesday. So the goal is to have an agreement by the landowners that are there. I believe those people are going to remove that. They've gotten a list of contractors. They're scheduling that. They want to get it done. I don't think they want to go to a hearing. The landowners are thinking, well, we go to a hearing, we have teeth that says it has to get done, because there is no dispute on whether or not there's a blockage there. So, but that's just from that standpoint. We will keep you abreast of that from that situation from there. But other than that, that is all I have. We did send out bids for minor repairs. Those will be opened at the next Drainage Board meeting. So we will have minor repair bids for next year. We've also had another person who's asked to be a trapper for us for where we're at. And I do have another contact for sprays that we will be sending out next year. So we may have competition there as well. So, and the lady finished the sprays here last week. So that's not ideal. Fall spray is definitely not ideal, but the nature of the beast at the moment. So does the board have anything for me?
Motion to adjourn.
All
Thank
those in
you.
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Good job.
All right, and Scott, give me, I'll go print this off for you.
That's fine.
Why can't I? That's it? Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks, Eric.
Eric.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
You too.
It is. I know. I know.
To believe in these past 8 months. Gone by so fast.
Here, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. What's
I'm
that?
holding you up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
On Monday.
Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Good morning. How you doing, bud?
Okay, that's fine.
There wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I did. Thank you. Tell Mike to thank too.
Welcome.
Morning.
And I thought I had it started.
How to figure out what to do because they just called for the General Assembly to meet during that time, so I'm not even sure time I'll be able to
Meeting's not
go.
on private.
I'm sorry, either lunch or dinner is great with you. Same day.
Put the meeting on private.
Will do.
Back to order. First item up on our agenda this morning is a county highway update from our engineer, Gary Poole.
Warren, you're a little quick on me. Let me get the stuff up so the public can see it.
Yeah.
I'll start with, I have 12 road additions to add to our inventory for about 2.5 miles. Mr. Hartley has a series of roads.
I've got signature items for everybody. 14 actually. Adopting those roads into our. One of these have a PennDOT application that goes with it, and all the top sheets in there are signature.
So it'd be easier just to read them off here.
Okay.
Just read these Enterprise Drive from here to here, here to here, here to here.
Okay.
Before we do our bids, so we don't.
Ready? I make a motion that we add to our inventory, 2025 inventory of streets. It'd be Enterprise Drive from 600 West to cul-de-sac to the cul-de-sac, and County Road 310 North to 600 West to 590 West. County Road 590 West from 300 North to 310 North. Owens Farm Court at 400 North to the cul-de-sac. And the fall inventory would be Boulder Drive, the boulders at Sugar Creek from 200 West to 25 North. West Bedrock Lane, the boulders at Sugar Creek, 200 West to 25 North. The West Briars Court, Nolting Estates from 700 West to 200 South. West Frederick Circle, Nolte Estates, 750 West to 200 South. And South Nolting Way, Nolting Estates from 700 West to 200 South. West Stone Pass, Nolting Estates from 700 West to 200 South. North Creek Water Pass, Heron Creek, 3.1, 650 West to 200 North. West Mulberry Way, Heron Creek, 3.1, from 650 West to 200 North. South Kings Way, Zion Estates, 640 West to 300 South. South Kings Court, Zion Estates, from 640 West to 300 South, as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And I'll kind of talk as you're signing these things, just so, for some of the other things.
Okay.
Just so, because there's a lot to sign there. The paver's ordered. I talked to Paul. He's working with the vendor on that. We bought it through a QPA through the state. It should be here this spring. We have a couple key items that'll come up quickly on that. One is a school drive at the New Palestine High School. And the other, Miriam was good enough to win some money for a grant. We'll pave the Wilkinson Trail at that point there. Annual bid. So we're going to rebid everything right before Thanksgiving. Like anytime vendors are talking to you, we do all our annual bids right before Thanksgiving. I am looking at carrying over liquid asphalt again. So I'm going to do that. If there's any objections to that, just let me know offline if you'd like me not to do that. All the others are rebid. I spoke with the neighborhood snowplower. We don't commit to plowing neighborhoods. In the ordinances, the neighborhoods are responsible for their own snow removal. However, we do help out when they get over 4 inches because some of the neighborhoods don't want to pay for it. So generally, we'll try to go in there and help, and I'll hire a contractor to do that. I'll probably have Feeney do that again. I'm not sure. I think he's not going to do the county parking lots, but the neighborhoods he's still down with, so I'll probably roll him over on that. And so, Scott, I'll get with you to get those re-upped. If you have any issues with that, let me know. Jack and Sons over there, we've got the appraisal back for Jack and Sons salvage yard. It was $275,000. We have a bridge that's adjacent to it. We have the opportunity, should the commissioners want me to enter into negotiations with Jack and Sons. What it would look like is we would like to purchase this property for $275,000 for that future bridge project. In exchange, we'd give him 1 year to have outgoing only business there. And at the conclusion of that business, we would take control of it, take everything to the landfill or junkyard, and let Greenfield commence they have a brownfield project with the EPA to kind of deal with some of the environmental stuff out there, get that cleaned up. And then either return that in the near term as a park along the Pennsy Trail. And in the long term, it could be a development for the downtown. Say sometime in the 20 years or wherever, sometime in the future, the commissioners, whoever may be here, decide. And the mayor is trying to get a vision together for his downtown to try to get people and parking and things to be down here. And that could be a useful area. But as a salvage yard, it's not as useful and not as flexible in a use for that. So think about that.
Who would pay for the cleanup of that?
The brownfield project would come from Greenfield. That would be the cleanup.
And we'd own the property?
We would own the property. And then in the future, we can figure out how we want to do with the developer. Fishers, for some of their development of Fishers downtown, they use the property as a incentive for certain types of development that they wanted. So that would be something you could use it for. You could use it as a park or various things. I'd recommend you leave it as open-ended on the lease or on the title as possible, because we don't know what the future holds. But we do know this is downtown Greenfield. It's an important part of the county. We probably want to get control of that land. So I'm going to recommend you.
You just need a motion for you to enter into negotiations with Jack and Sons to acquire this property.
I am going to check with Greenfield. I'm going to do a couple things first. So I'm checking with Greenfield, make sure they're still on board for doing the brownfield project.
I would make a motion we allow County Highway Engineer Gary Poole to enter into negotiations with Jack and Sons on the purchase of their property as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
The commissioners are going to need to decide if they want to extend HCSS. I imagine they'll be coming in at some point. Greenfield did come up with their 150. It was paid to them, so that those agreements are still holding. The buses are still moving, so that decision will have to be made soon because you'll need to sign off on that at some time in your December meetings. So keep that in mind. Okay. Microfinish, we didn't finish that up this year. It's just too much to get done. It's too cold. I don't want bad products, so I said wait till spring. It's on the CCMG, so it's fine. We got the money for it and everything. They'll just have to restart in the spring when they get going. They did finish what they committed to us, but I was hoping to get everything done. So we got CCMG 24-2 done. The 25-1 is going to carry over to next year, correct? Oh, not. Okay, got it. So did they get any of it done? Yes. Okay, so it started, but. One subdivision, 3 roads. Mr. Rawlez and Ms. Scheidler are working on another CCMG project next year to do a lot of neighborhoods with microservice. It's been very popular, and so we're going to keep rolling with that. And you're paying 50 cents on the dollar, so. The 600 East tree is down. Bill, you called about that. It looks like 9-Star beat us there. So like any good problem, if you wait long enough, it solves itself. But so our guy never got there. The guy's a great guy, but his tree's gone, so he's good to go. Indiana Trails Program Grant is being covered at a special meeting that's been submitted. 600 West is open, very popular. Ryan's got some coyotes. We'll get out there on those rocks. We might landscape it this year, might be next. Depends on the weather. If we get enough, we need a good solid week of weather to get our plants in. I do like to plant stuff in months that end in an R. That's what we were taught in school. They'll grow better. They sit there dormant, and then they grow better when they start. But we'll see. If we start in the spring, we'll be all right. We'll figure it out. Mario, one of our better crew leaders was injured. A sprung tree fell. Obviously, we'll be covering. We have our safety stand down, as Gary probably know in a factory. If you have an accident, you're going to have a safety stand down. So November 12th, we'll be having that. I imagine OSHA will be visiting this week. We'll talk about it. It was a sprung limb. Like every accident, there's a couple things we could have done different. So we're going to analyze that and make sure we learn from it. Mario's okay. He's got a nice new steel rod in his leg. And all the systems in place for the county are taking care of him. So he's good to go. Bridge is on 300 South by Zion will close this winter. And 400 South down by Rich Hilton, down that area, and Marion Wybrook, that'll close this winter. And then they'll be built this spring. Gary Edwards Drive, we're helping him out at Bridge 62. He had trouble getting his harvester up the slope, so we've sent out some dirt and some stuff to help him out, try to help our farmers out there. I think he's good.
Where's Bridge 62? Right
That's
there
on 300 north, just to the east of the campground. So on the northeastern corner of that bridge, there's a slope that goes down to his farm field. When we built the new bridge, it changed the slope a little bit. It's just he called in and said it's just a little much for him. He's not real comfortable. I said we'll help him out. So we've got some of our waste materials out there. I think we've got him taken care of. We'll check. He says we'll check it out again in the spring. He got his work done this year, and we'll just keep modifying it for him. It's dirt, so it's not too big a deal. I'm meeting with Gooden Landscape on Thursday. Gary, get with me and let me know exactly what you want from the county side from Mr. Gooden. And I'll work with Kayla as well on that. Kayla briefed me up on it. I just want to make sure that you, as the executive branch, are getting what you want there. What is there? Oh, during the safety thing, I was talking to Mr. Haddam. He's the Fisher's engineer, and he was talking about this. So Fisher's removed a J-turn and added a roundabout. If you look at that, if you look on the left side, that was what the J-turn was doing. And on the right side, all those green dots are accidents from the time they put the roundabout in per that year. Traffic is the same. The roundabout, it takes each driver during peak hour about 93 seconds longer to get through there. And he got a lot of pressure as editing from a lot of well-meaning people. And the executive branch, I believe in democracy, is in charge of these things. But it was a bit of a miss. So my civil engineers here, Mark and Ann, make sure you always follow the science. The science will be right. Facebook rarely has a good idea. People get very passionate on there. Passion doesn't equal correctness. Because it's probably costing the people up there about $1.6 million a year and $10,000 per hour. Now, luckily, no one's getting hurt. It's a roundabout, so people really aren't getting hurt. But at $10,000 an accident, and you add 100, 160 accidents a year at the same amount of traffic, it was a miss. And people wanted that there. They did. But just keep that in mind. I'll try not to get you exposed to too much public outcry. Everything I do will bring public outcry, but we're trying to help people. Trust me, we don't want anybody hurt. We want people to get places saying, well, we'll screw up too. But we can screw up plenty well on our own. As Haddam said, he's the engineer up there. It's like, I can screw up stuff just on my own. I don't need help. So just keep that in mind. That was a good lesson learned, though. That'll be talked about at road school. And that is about all we got going. We got those signed. Oh, more important, we got a new, in an effort to reduce and simplify the public's ability to use our ordinances and your ability to enforce some things, I've got some changes. I've copied this from some of Hamilton County stuff to our speed, stop sign, and no parking ordinances. Right now, in the past, we had them all in these giant public speed. We had all these huge, you'd have to sort through all these pages of our law, which is a special kind of hell, and to find your particular street. Now we've made it simpler. As signed by the Hancock County engineer, as directed by the commissioners, will be, if it's signed no parking, it has our sticker on it, there's no parking, the police can enforce that. In the past, they've just enforced it on disobeying traffic control devices, but this will simplify. This is going to go from about half an inch thick to probably 3 or 4 pages.
Much less cumbersome.
It's much less cumbersome. People will understand it better.
Great.
And then that way, if we do a speed study or a stop sign study or something, and we have a stop sign get warranted at a place, we can just enact it without having to jump through a bunch of hoops to do it. So I had these to you last meeting. You can still look at them longer, but I'm going to recommend we establish an ordinance number for these and have you pass them. I'll let you look at them for a second. Scott has looked over these.
Yep. I'm good.
They're good with the ordinance.
So let's say, for instance, just we changed all these things to, it shall be unlawful to park in any area signed as no parking determined by the Hancock.
Sure.
So that way you can just direct it and it's done. We don't. The same way with stop signs and stuff. And so each one will need its own motion, or it needs to be an ordinance number.
So is this the actual finalized ordinance?
These are the finalized ordinances. It hasn't changed. Well, do I present
They're
it as
red,
such?
there's some red lining there.
Redlining is removed. Add. That's how I got this from Hamilton County. I don't know.
Are
You wanna
you
put
gonna
it in
clean
a
it
final,
up? Yeah, the final
without the,
version?
without
So
the.
we'll let Scott clean it up and present it at the next meeting.
Well, they could approve it, the way it's been presented.
Okay.
And then we would just take out the redlining part of it. And
Yeah, but wouldn't we want to see the finished product?
Well,
This is the finished
Yeah,
product.
it
the way
is.
It shows the.
yeah, you don't have to approve it today.
Oh.
But I'm saying this is what we're going to approve. Need to take out the red line part. I think.
I just left all that in there so you guys can see the changes.
Okay.
What do you want to do? I guess
So we can take a look at these over the next
yeah.
2 weeks.
Take
Just
a look
come
at those
back to
and
our
let's.
next meeting
I can
and-
clean them out and then we can present them as a
Yeah.
non-edited ordinance at the next meeting.
Non-edited.
Right.
It's just cleaner.
Are we gonna do one ordinance number for all of them, or?
No, there's two of them there.
There's
Okay.
just two.
There's actually 3 chapters. I guess you could do them as an ordinance. It's going to split. It's probably easier to do them as 3 separate ordinances for 3 separate chapters. But
Are you going to email that? And
I've emailed that already once. I'll email the final product again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Barney, any questions? That's all I have.
Thank you.
We have none. Thank you very much. Thanks for 600 West Open again, Gary. People over there appreciate it.
I obviously didn't do any of the actual work. The guys worked really hard on that, and we got a lot of good weather. So that getting done a month early was nice.
Yes. Motion to recess. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Ben says the Greenfield Roundabout will be open in a couple.
All right, we'll call our meeting back to order. Next item up on our agenda, Corey Taylor's off today, so we'll have Heather Condra come up and speak on skating on Main.
Good morning, Heather Condra with Greenfield Main Street. We will be hosting our ice skating rink that we did last year on the Courthouse Plaza again this year. But as an added feature, we are going to be hosting trackless train rides along the Pennsy Trail. That will be the weekend of, December 19th, 20th, and 21st, those 3 days. My ask is that the company that's going to host those train rides for us would like to use the annex parking lot to leave the trailer with the train in it overnight that weekend. So that's just my ask, to be able to use the parking lot to park the trailer that hosts the train It'll be gone Sunday evening, so it'll be Friday evening starting at 5 o'clock, and then they'll be out of here Sunday evening before business resumes on Monday morning.
At the 19th, the weekend of the 19th?
Yes,
Only
Friday the 19th, Saturday the 20th, and Sunday the 21st.
I would make a motion that we allow Main Street to use our parking lot the weekend of December 19th.
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Heather, you may want to get a hold of Corey Taylor, too. I don't know if the company would provide anything like cones or crossbucks just to keep that kind of cordoned off. But
Worst case
he may
scenario,
be
I'll
able
get
to
with
help.
our street department and manage all of that, because
Okay.
they help me very closely with the skating rink, so I'll make sure I have to take care of all that.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Dean Folkening? We've just been waiting for this weed report, Mr. Folkening, the year-end report. The numbers, the excitement, just the stories of our weed controller at work.
At least somebody does.
What I like to do is, I've done in the past, kind of give you a highlight of where this year corresponds to where we've been in years past. And as you can see, and we've kind of been over this before, the weed situation in the county is kind of like a roller coaster. You never know what you're going to get going in. And it's not until the year's over with before you really figure out what we had. So weather is very much a big factor in that. Properties mowed, we did have, there was 3, but again, they're kind of habitual offender type people. You know, ones that we're talking about. Thought we had that one resolved, but then I guess he ended up paying the taxes on it to take it off the sale. So, you know, we'll just deal with it as it comes. About all we can do.
I'm
But we
sure the
just have-
neighbors won't allow us to forget every year.
I think that one may be in an unsafe home situation as well, after just a little
Yeah.
chat with our building inspector.
Well, there's different angles that we can take with that, and it really is, because you've driven around it up there. I mean, it's open, and it could be a hazard. You know, I could definitely see it from that standpoint, but I'll do what I can do on my side. We do have situation, I still get a lot of people don't update their information with the county as far as their address moving forward. One of these properties that I've had to mow several times, I know the person's not living at the address that they have listed. So the papers and the certified letters that I send has to go to where their listed address is. I don't know what we can do to try to get people to be a little bit more, you know, forthcoming with, you know, when they move, make sure they notify the county of any, you know, updated address or whatever.
As the property transfers, we require them to put the address where they want their tax bill sent, and that usually is an indicator of where they live. But for some of them that have happened, I mean, unless it's
Does that automatically switch over or pick up on GIS then too?
if you pull up a copy of that deed, you would, yeah, it'll say the taxing address on the left-hand side, it should.
Okay.
Just in the tax
Yeah,
bill.
because that's really what I go by, but I do know I have one, and I've tracked them down through other avenues. But again, legally, I think I have to mail it to where their listed legal address is.
Call our office just to make sure, because not everything pulls into. Might
Okay.
have something in our notes in Lao.
Okay. All right.
Welcome to call us.
I'll try following up on that if I have issue next year. But yeah, so as of now, you know, not too many winter weeds growing here in Hancock County. So you probably won't see much of me, but I will be accessible, you know, email, whatever. If something comes up or you think of something, maybe we can do a little better next year or, you know, address differently, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, try to hold things together while I'm gone, would you?
Will do.
Well done, thank you.
Appreciate your effort this
We'll
year.
take turns.
Okay.
Thank you.
Prosecutor Eaton. Good morning.
Good morning.
And before you get going, the commissioners say go ahead and order your furniture.
Got it. Thank you. We corresponded by email later in last week, Bill. Do you remember?
Yes,
Communicated about that. I
talking
hope that
about
answered your
your-
questions. I know that Commissioner Gray and I have communicated about this previously, and so I don't want to rehash that discussion here. If you had follow-ups to the questions that I responded to you in email, I'd be happy to answer those. Gary, obviously, if you have anything, I'd be happy to answer those. I know there's a full agenda today, and we had a lot of drainage board business, so I want to be efficient with time.
So along with that efficiencies, that's exactly what you say. This is potentially supposed to be, your office would hire somebody to come in and look at efficiencies and inefficiencies and try to make those things work better for the office and better for your
it gives us
people.
maybe a little bit of a roadmap. I mean, one of the things that's kind of been an issue is for the last, 10 years, on the one hand, we're doing the work of the day as we need to do. On the other hand, I was very cognizant that the county was growing rapidly and that the changes we're going to have in the justice system are going to change rapidly. So over here, we're doing the stuff we got to do today. Over here, we're trying to figure out ways to increase our, processes and capacity so that we're able to manage things as the increase in justice business comes, either by virtue of the nature of the type of cases or the volume of cases. And, that growth is going to continue. I think it would be very useful for us to have somebody that, has a broad view of the profession and the justice system overall, to look at those things and make those recommendations for what we can do now and potentially what we might need to set up in the future as our community continues to grow.
What was the price tag?
I think it was when when the council was there, because you were at that meeting previously, I want to say it was a ballpark of 60. And I want to say that, I sent a brief RFQ, I think, to Scott back on the 1st of October. Roughly that.
They typically run just about there. I mean, I've seen other studies done, and it's usually in that ballpark somewhere.
Fortunately, it's not something with which I have a great deal of personal knowledge, so it's a little bit of a guess.
Your email too alluded to the fact that maybe this person or whoever is chosen for that might take a look in general at the whole criminal justice campus and itself.
Well, the physical campus, no, but I mean, the interaction of all of the parts of the system, yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, the reality of it is that if you really want to know what's happening in the justice system, the key to all of that's going to be the data contained within the prosecutor's office. Because we connect with probation, we connect with courts, we connect with jails, we connect with law enforcement, we connect with a variety of community partners, public defender's office, et cetera. We do that every day. I mean, and so the one repository in the entire community which can tell you how many cases did you get referred to you, how many did you file, how many trials of different types did you have, et cetera, ad nauseum, all of that's going to be within our office. That's where everything comes together. There's not really another place, that exists where that happens. I mean, and by virtue of then having all of those things at that intersection point, then you're going to have some idea what's happening elsewhere.
My thought too, system, which would include the prosecutor's office, that would lend its component of
Looking for efficiencies and everything that would land out in that space in the criminal justice world. Sounds good to me. Do you need a motion for anything for approval on that? I mean, that comes out of your.
My impression was that I thought I did. I think technically we're in a space where I think there was, an allocation made at by the council. That allocation occurred, and so I think then the actual process of wanting to, approve the hiring of somebody to do this work would be y'all's work, and then perhaps we would work together then to do an RFQ or something and find somebody. Is that how it works?
I think you would put out an RFP. I mean, we could go ahead and say put out an RFP or an RFQ, request for qualification for a consultant to do that work.
The first part of October, I know from the council meeting, came up, and I want to say it's in a very rough outline to Mr. Binky at that time, so I think there's one that's at least a rough framework. I appreciate the consideration, and I'm motivated to move anything forward as rapidly as we can because, you know, things change every day. The sooner the better.
And you have funding through the council already.
That's what I remember. Yeah.
Then I would make a motion to allow Prosecutor Eaton to go forward with an RFP or an RFQ in order to do the study.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And, you know, usually this is a bit outside of the, I guess, the pattern of how usually I'm doing things. I'm not familiar with you all's work that much. And so what is the next step you need me to do if I communicate to do it?
I think
So
get
we
your
just
RFP to Scott.
Cue the
Yeah.
parameters of that,
Okay?
just agree on that. You get that advertised, and you'll get some responses. You can present those to. Make a recommendation who you would like.
So who does he contact?
Well, the RFQ gets advertised, so it's out for public bid. So he'll be contacted, and or the auditor's office will receive bids in essence. So that's the way to do it. I think an RFQ is the way to do it because it's
That established when it's ready to go, we'll be happy to advertise that for you, put it on the website, and there's certain timeframes in which it has to be advertised by. So once you get it all put together, we can look at it with make sure that it's meeting the legal notice timelines.
All right.
Happy to help with that.
I'll respond to your email, give you a template.
Okay. And then after I get that, then, you know, there may or may not be changes that you have. There may or may not be changes I have. There may or may not be changes you have. Is there some particular person that would need to make the final sign off before the auditor could make the posting?
You and I just have to agree on it.
Okay.
And let us know when you come to that agreement that it's ready to go to the auditor for posting.
We just copy the commissioner.
Okay. And then the people responding would respond, to make sure I'm clear, to the commissioners, to the auditor, or to me?
They'll probably respond to the auditor's address and by physically bringing a copy of their proposal to them.
And it'll be in your RFQ as to where they're supposed to bring it.
Yeah, who's to be sent to is in the RFQ.
And if, again,
We'll timestamp it, bring it down, so that,
did they email it?
yeah, they'll mail us hard copies or they'll drop it off at our office.
It must be regular mail or a hard copy.
They can, yes, we do need a hard copy, but they can go ahead and send a digital copy as well.
All right.
But not instead of.
All right. All right. A lot here, and so I look forward to it. I appreciate your consideration and your cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Van Dyke and Parks and Rec.
Schedule. Awesome. I'm just here to share with you what our meeting schedule is for 26. It didn't have any conflicts with anything that's been presented to you so far. And if you have any questions, let us know.
Where do you hold your meetings?
Right here.
Okay. Now, when you hold them in this office, you're aware of that when you hold a meeting in this room, that they all have to be recorded because wherever the commissioners or council meet by law, by statute, it has to have those recorded.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
We have been doing that since
Okay,
the deadline to
fantastic.
start doing that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank you. And Sarah, they're all on a calendar, so we've got all those on a calendar. There's no conflicting anything. Great.
Easy on her.
Is Kayla Brooks down here? Can we
It
get,
was in the hallway.
There, she's in the hallway.
Schedule are ready for guys.
Buyer beware, John is wearing a tie
Oh,
today.
Lord.
and dark sunglasses?
Doesn't know it's the end of the year. We have nobody left.
So, Ms. Brooks, if you want to come forward, we're just ready to start this the Hancock County Plan Commission certification process, and just go ahead and kind of tell us a little bit about that and where we are
Yeah.
right now.
So I3. So at our most recent Plan Commission meeting, the Plan Commission did have a public hearing to rezone 3 parcels totaling about 49.9 acres, located at 500 West, which is a dead-end stretch between 300 North and I-70, from IBP to Ag. These were 3 parcels that had been rezoned from Ag to IBP in 2022 as part of ordinances 2022 9C and 9D to IBP as part of a plan to build spec warehouses on the property. That came with agreements to build a roundabout, a cul-de-sac at the end of 500, and other improvements. However, it appears to have failed to lift it off. While the commitment to get an EDA approved was accomplished, the timelines mentioned in those documents had begun to lapse. While I'm not an expert at anything from the RDC's perspective, it was brought up from the neighbors that these timeline lapses were occurring, and that there had been some mention of rezoning it back to agriculture. So because of all of this, we did cautiously take the route to run the rezone through our normal public hearing process, which involves notifying everybody who owns property on the site and within 600 feet or 2 properties deep, whichever is less. We posted signs at the site. Not sure how effective that was, given that it is on a dead-end road, but we did. And we posted our agenda in a timely manner. Based on all of this, the Plan Commission did give a favorable recommendation on October 28th to rezone the property back to agriculture unanimously. There were supporters present. I3 was unfortunately not present. I did play phone tag with Matt Dickerson of I3, called him twice. I know he left a message on my machine as well, but unfortunately they were not there. And that's kind of how this all happened.
But all statutorily required
Absolutely.
notice happened as per
Yes.
Indiana code.
I double checked, yes. We also, I should also mention that another reason this came to our attention was because the site had been a public nuisance concern since at least August of 2023. Are there any questions?
I don't think I have any additional. Do you have any additional? I see Mr. Dickerson from I3, if you'd like to come up here and speak on I3's behalf. You want to go ahead and state your name and who you're with?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Matt Dickerson with I3 Investors. We are the owner of both the east parcels in question as well as the west parcels of the same development that we refer to as Buck Creek Logistics. I appreciate you giving us a couple of minutes to speak as well, and I just wanted to pass out if I could, and I sent along in advance just a couple of updates that we've been working on over the years so that we haven't been necessarily sitting on our hands, but been busy with the process of designing the roundabout, designing the ditch crossing, designing the road relocation, and we've been busy even though we haven't started the construction. So if I might pass this along.
Sure. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right.
So we're happy to be here in front of the commission. You're probably correct in assuming that we would have made an appearance at the zoning meeting. We certainly would have. It impacts property that we own. And we were the last to kind of know of it. I recognize proper notice went out, but we did not receive anything. And I don't make it a habit of reading the local papers, so shame on me. Maybe I should have. But we were kind of busy plucking along, honoring the terms of the EDA, which we understand to still be valid. I know that there are several hurdles on things that have to be accomplished, but the understanding that we have with what we negotiated with the county was that the completion date at the end of 2027 is the drop dead date. And that's the completion of both the properties being constructed. Along the way, we have spent, at the county's direction and very specific instruction, around $280,000, $285,000 to do the front-end engineering for that roundabout that's going to get built there eventually. We've also been busy on a separate cost ledger designing with items input in the Army Corps input to replace that ditch crossing that's there over Buck Creek itself. That process has drug on a little longer than I would anticipate, but we've been busy nonetheless. So, you know, we're still moving along, understanding in our opinion and our legal court's opinion that it's an EDA is still valid. I think it's still the intent of the county that that parcel be an industrial development. It's part of the master plan that the county had put in place years ago. So we're hoping to follow through on the county's wishes by doing that. And then I think backing up with part of what we'd put in there was, you know, what the EDA was doing and how we got to the EDA commitments that we made as a firm and the county required. That was supported both by a 3-0 vote of the commission and a 7-0 vote of the council over a 12-month process to kind of figure out what all we wanted to put in place there. And just as a refresher, a lot of it was we wanted to have a comprehensive master plan, which I think staff said, hey, we would like to have a comprehensive plan on that side of this parcel, which looks a lot like what we have agreed to basically put in oversized buffering, maintain the tree line on the creek, shift the road bed that's in place to the, I guess, west, which we have purchased the right-of-way, if you recall, so that that County Road 500 can get picked up, slid over, rebuilt to buffer the remaining homeowners there on County Road 500 to try to do as best we can be a good neighbor for the folks that are going to be there. We understand our process is disruptive, but we're trying to mound and plant and do things that would shelter them as best we can. So I think, you know, for our consideration, at the very least, we would ask the commission to delay any, there's a formal vote or a ratification of a rezone of half the property for 30 days while we continue discussion with this commission to say, hey, if there's something in this EDA you don't like or we need to have more of, let's determine what that is, with the end goal being we're going to put in a Class A park. It was delayed, obviously, but we're still here. We're still local. We're trying to put up a good project there for you.
So ground has not been broken in any way out at that site, correct?
Well, we raised the properties, the 4 homes. I think the fire department trained in 2 of the 4, burning 1 kind of down, and then we raised that. But no. So for our process, right after this thing was approved, if you recall, at the tail end of December of 22, our world changed pretty dramatically with the banking component, and that's on our side to deal with. But essentially, the bankers kind of said, we're not doing much of that right now. And it's coming back around, so we're hopeful 2026 that we could break ground, but the banks kind of stir the drink for us, so it's part of our process. We do have good signs that the lending environment's getting better, Fed rate cuts and some things that all kind of factor into it, but the last cycle with the previous administration in the White House didn't necessarily help the banking components. So anyway, I digress.
Several months where those houses were demolished. Still a hot mess out there.
Well, like concrete out there.
Foundations, have they been filled in?
No.
We haven't. I mean, our intention was to dig them all out with a mass grading of the site. You know, they're on grade, they're flat, they're back on private property. If we need to bury them in dirt or dig them out, we can do either of those two. But for somebody to be, I suppose, sort of poking around on there, that means they're on the property itself, which they probably shouldn't be. There's no trespassing signs out there, but nonetheless, we can move soils around or do some things to amass them. The farm fields have been in production the last 2 years. I think they just cleared corn off of both sides of that. We got our farmer check yesterday, actually. So I think he's done all right with selling the crop. But, you know, so it's been farmed. We have been out there. We just released our folks to go do bush hogging and do the things that they do periodically out there. But it's not an industrial park right now, we recognize. But we're not necessarily sitting around on our hands. I mean, we've been working in good faith with the county, spending dollars and working to get the thing ready to roll. It's just we needed to have a little cooperation from the banking folks, which I think is coming along.
Motion to.
I'd make a motion to table this for 30 days till some of the details can get worked out.
I need a second. Second. It's been moved and seconded that we table this to further dig into what the Planning Commission has provided us. Come back within 30 days and deliver a decision. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Nay. Motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners. We'll be back with you.
And just for clarification with I3, the 30 days it never does mean, and at least for some of those in the audience that have come as in that area, that we're siding with one group or another. It's 30 days to kind of figure out whether we're going to move forward with the rezone or we're not.
Yep, I recognize that, and I appreciate your 30-day period that you provided, and we'll be in communication with you. Mm-hmm. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Brooks, if you want to come up again. We have another ordinance amending Title 15, Chapter 156, the Code of Ordinances of Hancock County regarding power generation facilities. Just kind of go ahead and share with us a little bit of how we got here. And
Yes. So earlier this fall, as you all know, there was interest from a power generation facility to locate in our agricultural zoning district. Mm-hmm. It became very evident that the existing zoning code, which shows the commercial power generation facility use as a special exception in the agricultural zone, was not appropriate in most of Hancock County's agricultural zone, that in fact it should be removed altogether as a special exception or permitted type use. It is still an acceptable use in our, I believe, just our IG, Industrial General Use District, which is probably the best place for it. This means that if a power generation facility would want to locate in an area of the county that is currently zoned agricultural, it can't just go to the BZA and get a special exception. Rather, it would have to ask for a rezone of that property to industrial general.
And this is what we currently have done with our solar and wind ordinance as well. These big power projects that the constituents feel like we ought to have more of a stance in, that there's a lot at stake in the county, should really not go to a appointed board, but to the elected officials of the community to make the final say-so. So it's not really out of the ordinary that we would be doing any kind of amendment like this.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So I would like to make a motion to amend ordinance title 15, chapter 156 of the Code of Ordinance of Hancock County, Indiana regarding power generation facilities, commercial.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we amend ordinance Title 15, Chapter 156 of the Code of Ordinances of Hancock County, Indiana regarding power generation facilities as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you, sir. Kayla.
the one we've all been waiting for, Mr. Johannes. We are good. We don't have any more discussion.
It's dangerous. He's wearing a tie.
He is.
We had dark sunglasses on at first. That concerned me.
Yeah,
so I
they're
really
the
thought that
transition
was-
ones that don't transition very
Okay.
well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hopefully, we will have what will be a quick agenda. 4 purchases to discuss, or 3 purchases to discuss, and then a quote for an additional office over in our building. The first one is the big one, and that is and it's my favorite time of year, and that's the purchasing of the radios for next calendar year. There's only 27 of them this year. We went from 250 on our first order to 87, now to 27.
Were these things that
Yeah,
we had prior approval, and you got a better contracted price?
For the...
I was thinking we had already approved
No.
the purchase.
Not this one.
Not this one.
No.
And
No,
these are
it was approved to be paid for out of the bond,
2025 bond.
out of the 2025 bond, but we have not done this yet, to my knowledge. At least I don't have anything signed.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, if we want to order, you know me.
You're at that point, we bought a lot of radios, now you're just replacing them.
Now we're additional, like Vernon Township's adding a new piece of apparatus, so that'll be, a few, and then New Pal, Fortville, McCordsville, Greenfield, Sheriff's Department are all adding officers because of growth. And there's a lot of accessories that are built into this quote, including actually the most expensive part of it is the radio tuner, which is to the tune of about $72,000, but that is going to dramatically change how we maintain our radios and be able to maintain radios for a much longer time because they keep them on frequency, which obviously helps specifically in the fringe areas away from the different sites, the tower sites. There's about 4 of us that'll learn how to use that device, and it'll be interesting for sure. But we'll throw all of our over 1,000 public safety radios on that thing after we receive it, and see what we can check, make sure we can fix everything. So the grand total on that one is $314,726.11, and that's through Motorola Solutions via ERS.
So I'd make a motion, we approve the Motorola Solutions radio purchase in an amount not to exceed $314,726.11 to be paid for out of the 2025 GEO bond proceeds as presented.
Second.
So there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
And the next 2 items are chair purchases. We actually haven't bought any 24/7 chairs in about 6 years, which is pretty good. Greg's done a very good job at maintaining those chairs. This is his project. He's done a really good job at negotiating some of this. So there's actually going to be 2 separate purchases from 2 separate vendors on this. The first one will be commercial office environments, and that is for...
You need this besides the other one?
What's that?
Is this included in this one?
That should be the notice to proceed, I believe, for Motorola. Is that correct?
Yes, 314,726.
That one, yeah.
There you go.
Yep. So, okay, ready?
Okay.
All right. So the first chair purchase is from Commercial Office Environments. It's actually for 4 24/7 chairs for a grand total of $2,389.95. We have that budgeted out of CCD. If that's okay to take that out of CCD, that's where we budget $5,000 every year for chairs, and this is probably this is one of the first years that we've ever spent it
Well,
for a while.
you got a good period of time out of your chairs. I
Yeah.
was watching dispatchers use chairs at different locations. We can be pretty brutal on those things, so.
Yeah, and there is a pretty good consensus on the style as well, so they'll get used. Most of the chairs, I think maybe there's only one or two that we may consider getting rid of completely. But as we increase staffing, obviously, we want to make sure that people are comfy.
Mm-hmm.
We have something on that?
Do you have the chair quote?
Oh, okay.
And you said CCD to pay
Correct,
for that?
yes,
and
out of our
911
911 CCD, yep. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the chair quote for the E911 facility. And I'm trying to, in the amount of $2,389.95 as presented.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
When did he email that? I'm sorry, Commissioners, could you?
$2,389.95.
Yes, correct, yeah. This is the document is the second chair purchase that.
Oh, this one is?
Yeah, correct.
Same fund, CCD.
Correct, yes, yeah. This one was actually also a pretty good deal. They gave us these chairs for 70% off because we were using them as demos, so they're basically brand new chairs. So again, Greg did a great job at negotiating that one. And this is from Human Scale, and that one is a grand total of $1,374.15. I'm sorry, there is tax, I believe, still on that quote.
It's $1,380.
Correct. There's tax showing on that quote, but the actual amount because they don't have our tax
Don't pay sales
thing
tax.
yet.
So what is it?
$1,374 with 15 cents. So $1,374.15.
Make a motion to approve quote number 772071-002, purchase of chairs for 911 facility, not to exceed $1,374.15 as presented.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And the last thing I have for the agenda was to add an additional office on the EOC side of the building. If you're familiar with the EOC side, it has the overhangs up top that you can look over onto where, everybody would be sitting if we were in there. It's generally because we're out of office space, and that office space was not a premium when they built the building originally, because it was built
Many years ago.
Yeah, 17 years ago. So we're doing what we can to make sure that we can fit people into offices where we can. So This has been going on for a while. We had originally had a quote with a company that went out of business. And then we got a couple other quotes. Well, one of the companies has gone unresponsive on us. The other one was about 2.5 times what this quote came in at. So, and
Make a motion that we approve the creating of an office at the 911 center. Price will be not to exceed $18,000, and the project duration about 5 days, as presented.
Second.
Been a motion and a second to create office space at the 911 center. An amount not to exceed $18,000 to be paid for out of your...
that's our bond, the 911 bond.
911 bond. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And real quick on that, they included the electrician in there for about $2,000, including that is included in the 18,000. If that comes in a little higher, then I'll be back to just get that.
Right. So
pushed.
in your proposal too, it says, I may have missed a couple small scope details, so just make sure you nail down those small scope details.
And it did not appear that they did in that, so it seemed good for us. So we're good. And then other than that, I think we're good. Staffing is great, and I send everybody an email about 2020, about potentially adding somebody in 26. Councilman Shelby called me about that yesterday, about some things. Very positive conversation. So
That's good.
We are gonna talk about it tomorrow. So,
okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We still have.
We've got the solid waste.
Oh, solid waste at 10 o'clock. Let's run through some claims and payroll and auto business.
Make a motion, approve claims and payroll.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve claims and payroll. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And Deborah?
First thing that I have is on schedule. We indicated May 5th and November 3rd that you would have your meeting. So we're going to just go ahead and move that to the Monday before that Tuesday.
So a motion to approve the amended holiday schedule for 2026.
Make a motion to approve the amending of the holiday schedule, or the meeting schedule for 2026 as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And then I just have a document for our closing that we're having. Just signing off that.
So that just needs a signature.
Yes.
Oh, we don't have to make a motion or anything? Okay.
No.
There you go.
But you have to sign it too, Gary. It's a 3 signature.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get it on the way back.
Off that easy.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's all.
Doggy?
That's it.
Okay.
It's got 2 minutes on that clock. I know it's
Okay.
10 on the regular.
Those contracts that are listed there, those,
Okay.
I didn't have any issues with the.
So the RFP, the cabinet contract, the Madison County Youth Center contract all look good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the Meyer Najum contract for cabinet work in the amount of $41,729. And that is to be paid for out of
Building maintenance.
building maintenance, okay.
Second?
I was going to say, all of the
Would say any
contracts that we
discussion.
have- All the contracts that we have listed have been approved already. It was
Right.
just pending on his approval or
Oh.
review.
Right.
So you don't really need to make the
Okay.
motions. just-
Oh,
Perfect. I remember we did make those in the last meeting, pending Scott's review, so.
If you want to note in the minutes that legal review what's been done.
reserve bid courtesy. Oh, okay. It was. Thanks for reading my mind.
Got that.
Make a motion that we approve the bond release for Prairie Point Enterprises LLC of Hellertown, PA. The type of bond was a performance bond in the amount of $25,000. The bond number 044573. Date of bond was 1 of November 2019 and expiration 1 of November 2025. This is for the boulders at Sugar Creek, Section 2 for utilities.
Second.
Take that out. It's been moved and seconded. We approve the bond release, the performance bond release for Prairie Point Enterprises, the amount of $25,000 for the boulders at Sugar Creek Section 2 utility. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, that's it. Let's,
Okay, we can,
so, motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn, no,
Or
to
just
recess.
Motion to recess, yeah. Then move and second to recess. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Recessed for our drainage board.
Almost got out of here. Hey, clean my mess up here.
How are you?
Yeah.
Good.
You're welcome. I got your text.
Working on your end.
I haven't had a chance to say anything to them.
Hi, Mayor.
We only said those are we're good.
Chad, are you DD
Okay.
today? Yeah, looking good, looking good.
Commissioners,
Do you,
bring in you guys of course, you guys can find it.
I don't see a lot of them.
I think he needs to come back then and get it.
It did, it did.
I'll be there with bells on.
Okay.
I'm sure more people.
There's some people.
Walked around the whole time. I had a good time.
Thanks for mentioning me.
Okay. Well, at first I thought, and I never asked this, do you have that money is it coming out of your own budget? To do. I thought he probably had that, and then he said, no, the council approved it, so thanks for the heads up, I'll let him know.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, I got your request, I just don't know if I'm gonna do it.
I can move, I can do whatever.
They enacted the special session December 1st through whatever, I'm with Bray, so all of my daytime stuff, they just. Okay. I mean, even commissioners.
Yes.
I'll eat his food.
I told them, the council did not fund Brandon.
Yeah, so I'll let you know.
They did not fund.
Okay.
Dan.
Good to see you.
So-
You guys fund it.
You're Dee Dee?
Commissioner Farms, that's up to you.
No,
I know.
Are you
We
the,
did not
are you
fund
the
it. We did not
backup
vote to fund
drainage?
it. We voted for it. We didn't
Or
vote.
solid waste?
Them to bring an
Solid
RFP
waste,
discussion with
okay.
you guys.
Yes.
So we wanted you guys to tell us, hey, we like this, it's a great idea, please fund it somehow. That's what we wanted to get from you guys.
So we
It's your decision too. I mean, it's not just us.
Well, but at the same time, I
Emails
mean,
today, I didn't
we
know
needed
if
to
there's
know
any-
that. I mean,
I know it's in our minutes, which we'll approve tomorrow.
I had a long conversation about
That's okay. He should have known.
Greg's email today, so we're good to go.
1, 2, 3.
All right, we're going,
Bill, you're on this too, aren't you?
going ahead? Yeah, we're all there.
Where's Dee? Where is Dee? Where is?
Oh, it's Chad's doing it.
You are.
Chad's Dee today.
She's not here.
And he is Dan Riley today.
No, I'm Gary McDaniel, Vice President.
Oh, Vice President Gary McDaniel.
Are we ready to go?
We are ready to roll.
I'd like to call to order the Hancock County Solid Waste Meeting at 10:04. Do we have a motion to approve the September meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Go right ahead, and I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. So, director's report.
Getting there. All right, as you can tell, I am not Dee Dee. So I'm Chad Cook, and I'm actually the county surveyor. I work with Dee Dee when it comes to drainage and some things that we do together for MS4. And she asked me to kind of run the meeting today. So I'm going to walk through as to the best of my ability. I probably won't be able to answer every one of your questions, but I should be able to answer most of them for you. And so as we go through there. So as she goes through there, the next thing I think Dee Dee has on her list is her invoices. And they are in your packet. There you go. The following ones were submitted. Oh, wait, let me see here. Find your invoices here.
On the next page.
Yep, last page there.
No, that's budget.
Right.
These are what was.
The last page, I think, is it?
That was for last month. Would it be everything in red?
It'd probably be right here.
All right, so yeah, they're on the last page there. So it is the things in red. So the contract, September and October, office supplies from Walmart, that was for the Red Ribbon Walk that they had through here. Fuel, she got twice. She went through there. She had to get oil changed in the vehicle. And so since there was no money in that fund, she transferred it from Toxaway and then used it in September for that. Telephone to Verizon bills for what's there. The 4 imprint under the SWMD education materials. These were the school supplies for the spring that she will be using. She goes out and does things. And then on the last one there is for the Toxaway. We had the fall event. So you had the advertising for it, and then you had the different vendors that were there. And then there is actually one more claim, the one there for Caldwell. If you look between the red there under the Eco Shred, the Caldwell portalettes and the Caldwell roll-off container actually came in after she submitted this. So those actually came in as well. So that's another $702.40 as those went through. Advertisement for the fall event. Then the transfer for the vehicle fund, dues and subscriptions that she had. Event supplies, cones and things like that. And then the conferences that she happened to go to. The AISWMD conference and the Hoosier SWANA conference, they were actually the same conference. but in they were in the same place, but two different conferences. They were on back-to-back days. And then the AISWMD conference did not provide any meals. And so that was dinner on those 2 days as she had for there. And then dues and subscriptions. She goes through there. And then next month, you will be getting the 2026 membership ones for the chamber and those things. And then I think that is all from there. And there was, I think that's all the invoices.
Make a motion, we approve the invoices as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion on the floor and a second to approve the invoices as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Same sign. Motion passes.
Okay. So next is the end of year outlook. So far right-hand column, as you look at the very last page that's there on the information as it runs down through there. The estimated ending balances as she goes down through the different things. And there was $11,951.92 carried over from 2024 into the budget. And to remind that it looks like there's a lot more money in there right now. But remember, next year for the budget of 2026, there will be $15,000 less in the budget. So the carryover cushion will help as it works through.
Okay. Does anybody have anything?
Do you have any questions, sir?
So, nothing else? That's it?
Oh, no, we got a lot more things. All right, so that's all of the there. So for old business, the fall collection event was very good. As we went through there, as you'll see in the thing, we had 2 weeks prior to the event, we got a call from Elanco that said, you can't use our place. So that kind of threw a wrench into everything. So Dee Dee kind of scrambled around, and the Greenfield Junior High allowed us to use their back lot for where it was at. It actually worked out really well. We had the most of cars we've ever had for a spring event.
Oh, wow.
Which really surprised us, especially with people used to going to Elanco. We think part of that may have been because we had to put another thing in the paper to let them know that the venue had changed. So it kind of put it forefront in their minds for where they were at. The vendors liked the layout for there. We had 4 volunteers for the event. The average wait time was about 45 minutes. So next year, going to get a little more for the volunteers. Didn't anticipate as many people as was there, but got good feedback from just about everybody as we went through with that. So if you happen to bring anything in, I think it worked pretty smooth for where it was at. And the IDEM tire grant update, we received the full reimbursement from the tire grant, $10,000 between 24 and 25 for free tire events. So that was good. The IDEM Community Recycling Grant update. Dee Dee met with IDEM to discuss the grant last week. They wanted to make sure that we are in compliance with our disposal methods, which we are. The final notification will come in December. And there's a possibility of $10,000, which will be mostly used for the trash bins at the depot, street parking, and the parks that are there. And we will have a 25% match. There will possibly be a 25% match from the Parks Department for that grant as that works through. And the other old businesses she has on there, you can look at them if you want to go through those for there. Participated in the chocolate walk, which was really cool. And there was a communication about the budget and the modifications of things. I guess that was from the last month. Okay, so new business. Dee Dee attended 2 conferences, the AIS, WMD, and the SWANA. Don't ask me what those stand for, but in October, they had the drug toss event. There was 30 participants, 1,000 pounds of total weight, including drugs collected in the drop boxes. So, yeah, that police station since June. So that's good. We had our IDEM construction audit, and that went well. We haven't got our results back from that, but that went really well. This week, she's at NASA conference in Dallas, and with 5 other NASA board members. And she's been asked to present at the Women in Business meeting here coming up, which should be really cool. Christmas light recycling. I have a couple flyers if anybody wants to see them, but Ace Hardware in Greenfield, Ace Hardware in New Pal, McCordsville and Fortville Town Hall will be accepting them this year. And Recycle Force will collect lights, all at no charge. So if people want to do those and put those over. So have those, and I know they're up in our office, but at other places we're going to put them up and around for them to do that. Christmas tree recycling. Green Cycle will accept Christmas trees at no charge again. Dee Dee will take things up to the local, pass out postcards to the local tree farms to advertise that. There's a no cold feet challenge. We'll only be accepting reusable and new shoes. Nike will not be doing the shoe grinding, so we cannot accept unusable shoes. And so this is the one where she goes around to the local schools and does every year. And Nike's kind of changed where they're at and how they're doing things, and changing footprints is running out of space for where they're at. So what we're going to do this year, after the school competition, we're going to pick up the shoes. We've reserved the sheep barn at the fairgrounds, and we're going to get a group of volunteers together, and we're going to sort everything. So what we send to changing footprints is actually what they need, as opposed to just dumping everything on them and having them sort through it. So it's a little bit of a help for them for where it's at. So that will be on January 31st. So if you have nothing planned for that day, you're more than welcome to come join us and sort some shoes for where we're at. The 2026 collection events, the 2 dates that we have are April 25th and September 26th. And I think I will need a motion for those at some point. The location, right now, the school couldn't guarantee that we could use their spring at that time in the spring. So Dee Dee reached out, and Park Chapel has agreed to let us use their parking lot, the front parking lot there at Park Chapel, at no charge. And looking at the layout of that, with one exit and entrance coming off of each major road there, it kind of looks like a lot of room to move people around. So,
could I get a motion for approving those dates?
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Motion passes.
Okay. IDEM Materials Management Plan, the Swiffer Grant. IDEM has just completed a statewide MMP for working towards a 50% recycling rate for the state. They're offering grants to help counties create their own MMP to achieve this goal. So Dee Dee has submitted a letter of interest to IDEM to proceed to get the grant. Applicants for the grant will be sent out in December, and they are on a first come, first served basis. So all the work she does beforehand will really help from that standpoint. She'll submit it as soon as it needs to get there. Dee Dee has sent an RFP to 7 consultants to kind of get bids for creating this MMP for where it's at. So she'll be ready to submit the application when it comes in. She had a meeting with one company who's very interested in doing it. And she would like to have, I guess, approval to proceed with applying for the grant in December from the board here, so that she could continue to move forward with that.
Could we get a motion
for Dee Dee Allender to go forward with the Swiffer, getting approval for the Swiffer grant as presented?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve to go ahead, Dee Dee go ahead and apply for the Swiffer grant materials, IDM Material Management Plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Same, opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
The one thing that's not on here, American Recycle Day is November 15th. So if you want to mark that on your calendar and celebrate, and, you know, you're more than welcome to do that from there. That is, and I know I ran through that pretty quick. Are there any questions that anybody has that I can relay back to Dee Dee? Going forward, I think I've covered everything that she asked me to cover from that standpoint. But is there any questions on that as it's there?
Nope. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's been motion second. All in favor of adjournment? Say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.
19. Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Because you guys have been here all your meetings.
Guys, give me a few minutes.
Yes,
But you know, we don't usually vote.
that's fine.
Budget meeting. Where's it at?
certified disbursement.
Got Kelly.
Oh, yeah,
Got
she's up there.
Kelly, if we
Forgot
want to
about
go
that.
ahead and, yeah.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I have one thing for action today. That is the ratification of Commissioner Spalding's signature on the 180 stop loss renewal contract. It came in at a 3.5% increase, which is well under what Apex predicted it would be. They were able to go and tell our story about some of the one individual that we do have a stop loss on and get that stop loss down significantly, and then, or that laser down significantly. So it only is a 3.5% increase, and it has been signed. I just need a motion to ratify the signature, please.
I make a motion that we ratify Bill Spalding's signature regarding the stop loss.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay. Yesterday, we had our open enrollment education meetings discussing the moving to the 3-tier HSA. That went well. I'm sending out a recording of the meeting today. Hopefully that will play for everyone as anticipated. Open enrollment is going as expected this morning, which means a couple hiccups that are getting fixed as we go along.
Do you get any numbers that tell you like a percentage of people that have already, signed up for?
That have already signed up? Sure.
Open enrollment.
See if I'm still
When does that end?
connected. It ends on the 14th. So when I was last in here, I think I got logged out because of lack of being in of activity. When I was last in here, we had about, I think 30 people were incomplete and 12 had completed already. Okay. So they got their link at 8:07 this morning is when I got mine. So that's pretty regular. The ones that are incomplete are ones who have contacted me about the little glitch that we're having. And I'm getting ready to send out an update about that. So our first in-person session starts at noon today in this space. It'll be noon to 4. I anticipate, because we're over a lunch hour, that I'll see several people come in to sign up in person.
Noon to 4.
Noon to 4. And then we have jail tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the highway we'll see on Thursday at 7 a.m. We will do their info session in person there, and then we get everybody signed up. So that'll be a big boost to what the numbers will look like after that.
Is there any way to consolidate some of the emails you're sending out?
I try.
And I've had some people talk about it.
I try.
Okay.
Trying to keep everybody as updated as much as possible. If you continue to get emails at this point from Ben Select and not your county email, it's because you haven't enrolled yet. So that reminder will go out. I think the next one is set to go out on Friday and then again on Monday.
Okay.
So go ahead and get enrolled, and you'll stop getting
I'm not going to get enrolled.
those emails. Well, you have to.
Even if you don't get enrolled, you have to.
You have to go through. It's an active open enrollment, so everybody has to go through and decline coverage, or you're going to continue to get the emails and text messages.
Okay.
This is why people get annoyed with me in November, but this is part of the process.
And I'm glad you do that, because the minute somebody misses the sign up, then it's your fault.
It's the other way, for sure.
It is. And in the past, I've been able to make phone calls on the last day, and that's probably not going to be able to happen. So encourage anyone who's like, I'm getting too many text messages, to go in and decline coverage, and they won't get them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Speaking of that, alluding to that, have we had any submissions on our HR position?
So Sarah is collecting those resumes.
4? Okay. And additional ask, Corey Taylor asked before he went home this morning, was any on the facilities help?
I'm getting those. There's 3 or 4 there too that I'll make sure Corey has.
Okay. Great.
So, yep.
I may just come today.
And get signed up. Then you won't have to worry about it. Yeah. The Hancock GovAll ones you can ignore if you're not interested, but the other ones that are coming through text, you gotta.
Okay.
We'll just get
the one
you
through text, eh? That's the one.
The
that
one
you have
through
to go
text. You need to get signed up.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can take care of that over the phone this afternoon if you want to.
Is it easy?
It's pretty easy.
Okay, I'll look at it first. If I need to, I'll give you a holler.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
All right, anything else for me this morning?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that amplified disbursement?
Yes. Make a motion that we approve the Amplify disbursement or an affidavit for construction fund disbursement request number 15.
Second.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry, I'm sleeping over here.
I'm looking for the amount.
Third page.
Third page, for $27,066.22. Invoice number 22129.000-37407. As presented.
Second.
And also Myron Agent.
There are 2 invoices.
Give me a second. Is there 2?
Now the Meyer Nation.
Oh, where'd it go? I'll find it. Give me a second. Oh,
Is
did you get the wrong amount?
the $3,714,564.34. Yes.
Total.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes.
Give me a second here. I saw the Myronasium. Oh, okay.
There you are.
All right. We've already done that one, Myronasium. I thought we did the downstairs, the cabinets. Yes, we did that one
We
already.
did do that one already.
Yes. We've got the assessors wanting us to approve.
That should be the Nexus contract.
Yeah, the Nexus contract right here. Make a motion that we approve the Nexus contract for the assessor
Second.
as presented.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the Nexus contract for the assessor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And I make a motion that we agree and sign the extension contractual services agreement between Purdue University and Hancock County government as presented.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay.
I think that's it. And that's all I have.
Sarah, do I get 2 of these? It just says typed. It actually says typed name. Do I sign those? On both of those it does. Sign it?
Yeah, this is Chad's.
Oh.
Oh. Here, I'll send that one back down.
Hold on. Did I miss something?
Nope, it just came. We got it first.
Oh, okay. That.
You just came to hang out the whole day, didn't you?
I think you did.
You're like a bad penny.
Much that I figured I'd just hang out all day.
Okay.
You're like a
that
bad
one's
penny.
good.
I've been called worse.
So does that takes us through all of our.
Everything.
It does.
All right. What you got?
All right, so I am here on behalf of Arbor Homes, and Lance McElroy is here, and I'll let Lance talk here in a minute. This is something that started off in Drainage Board, and the attorney decided that this is a better place to come here. You have a copy in front of you of the easement that was recorded in 2021. Scott also has a copy of that, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Scott, but from what I understand, it states that there's a easement for people to put in pipes, drainage pipes to drain the properties around, but they need to have the approval of the commissioners to do that. That's in a nutshell for where they have for that. So Lance is here to request that permission from the Board of Commissioners from that. I'm here on a technical advisory side of that, representing, I guess, myself from the drainage side in the county, as well as Mark Witzman had to step aside. He had another meeting today, which he was here earlier and spoke for a moment, and he had given me some information as well. And so I want to kind of give you guys that information first, and then I'll let Lance come forward, and he can talk just a little bit about the project and talk about asking for approval for the easement. So this 500 North is the corporation limits of McCordsville. And so both McCordsville and I know my office would like to see the storm sewer that is coming out of Claiborne subdivision to be taken care of by an entity, by public as opposed to private for where it's at. And so they are requesting to use that easement to come through. The town has said they are willing to take the infrastructure that is on the south side of 500 North, which would be the line here, if you see on the drawing that I have on the screen, from the eastern edge or western edge all the way to the corner up here. And then the county would get the section down through here. I know during Drainage Board, one of the conversations and things we were talking about was the availability of being able to maintain the area that goes into the private sections that are down here. The only thing that is beneficial for that, and what I would also, you know, say I would give credence to Mr. Benke to follow through from this standpoint. But when we had them do this development to the south, all of their drainage from their pond to their other things are within drainage easements. So if there is a blockage or something like that, then you have the right to go in and fix it from that standpoint, for what's there. Because it is within an easement, you have the right to go in there and fix that. I can look at the wording on the plat that is there, but their entire storm structure system is within an easement. So if there happened to be a blockage in a tile that was from the area that would be coming south here, you'd have the opportunity or the right to go in and remove that blockage, so that way the subdivision would continue to drain. So that's a question. I know that was a question from the Drainage Board from that standpoint. But so I will let Lance come forward and give a formal request to use the, and then answer any questions that you may have from that standpoint, and I will try to give any help as I can. So.
Yes, hi, I'm Lance McElroy with Arbor Homes, Silverthorne Homes. Claiborne is a proposed 324 lot subdivision in McCordsville. We have the drainage pipe that does go out of the town of McCordsville technically into this location that Chad was explaining to you. I was here for the Drainage Board this morning. I guess they're willing to, maintain that. So we're asking for the commissioners to maintain that storm sewer pipe that discharges down through the GDI property to the south.
Ask first for access to the easements, because you have to get access from, you have to get approval from the commissioners to use. Am I correct with that, Scott? Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess, yes, there is. Yeah, there's an easement that's granted to the commissioners that we're utilizing for this drainage pipe. And
you're good with it, Chad?
I'm okay with that. The point is, I wouldn't be maintaining it. So from that standpoint, it would be the commissioners maintaining it through the road fund, probably is where it would come out from, to just maintain that single line that runs through there. Because it's a commissioner's aspect. I know from a drainage aspect, we want it to be handled or maintained by a public entity, not by private entity. We know that doesn't work well, right? Whether it is an individual owner or whether it is a homeowners association, that just doesn't work well. And so both the town of McCordsville and I know our office would like to see that it is maintained by a public entity. And the town of McCordsville is willing to maintain the area along that easement, which I imagine they would need a interlocal agreement, probably, Scott, between the two, for them to be able to maintain that as it runs through there on that south side of 500 North. But then the county would have to maintain the area that is to the south, the north-south line behind the subdivision there.
I make a motion that we give approval to enter the easement to Arbor Homes.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. We allow.
And I would say town of
and
Cordsville.
Yeah, and I'd make it contingent on the interlocal agreement.
Okay.
Contingent on interlocal agreement.
Other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Who is in charge of drafting that interlocal?
Exactly. I think if McCordsville could get me a draft.
Okay. I will let Mark know that to get a interlocal agreement draft to you, and then have any other things there, Lance? Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
We talk about the maintenance, or is that just the?
They've already agreed. That's part of that. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Seconded the motion.
Jenny? Public?
Is there any public comments? We don't have any, yes, miss? And come on down.
Need to get her a step stool. That'll work.
Oh, God, no. Okay, I just wanted to, I'm Leah Letterman, for the record. I wanted to just add a few things about what Mr. Dickerson mentioned earlier, and I can also write this down, but I wanted to follow up with some things you can think about perhaps in the next 30 days. As you know, of course, they did nothing with the rezoned land, which, as I recall, that was something you were concerned about, that it was going to get rezoned and then not built on, and that's what happened. There were conditions attached to that abatement, and they were not met. Starting with the small stuff, of course, they could not comply with the bare minimum of mowing their lawns. And according to the EDA, Article 3, developer obligations, they were to maintain the properties. Section 3.1G, maintenance and repair. They violated a weed ordinance, 91.03. And then this then violates the Section 3.1H of the EDA, compliance with laws. In May 2024, I mean, this isn't just complaining about dandelions in an HOA. In May 2024, council actually had to give the weed board $5,000 for the work they were doing on these properties and their time and energy they were spending. And then even then, Buck Creek Fire Station was doing the mowing. Recently, I heard one of the neighbors over there was mowing a property. So, I mean, this is not stuff that I'm making up. And of course, you guys are familiar with some of the things that happened on that property, needles, beer cans. I know that the one neighbors had to call the sheriff because there was an OD over there. There was, of course, as you know, a deceased person found on that property. That, of course, is not the county's or I3's fault, but it was a nice isolated area where that sort of thing could happen. Anyway, it was a full year after the deceased person was found, and after neighbors complained that they finally took down those houses. And then, yeah, it was only because neighbors alerted the county. As far as the 730 days, oh no, I'm going to go to funding first. They never paid the $850,000 that they were supposed to. They've been meeting with the RDC in spring 2024, having to explore their ability to fund the project. And at one point, they even asked the county to front them the money, and they'd pay them back. And I can give you the minutes, I can give you the dates, I can tell you in the videos where this happens. As far as banking issues, frankly, that sounds like an I3 problem. Also, it's not an excuse for failing to file permits and to contact the appropriate entities. They were already facing trouble, given that they could only pay for 25% of that roundabout that was required. They never paid a cent. And at the same time, according to their website, which I can pull up for you, or I'll certainly give you the link, they've purchased properties all over the Midwest. Recently, 2025, they've purchased these properties, and as far away as Tampa. They've also made a lot of new hires. So there's a lot of money that they're spending, but not here. And then as far as commencing construction, that was in section 31A, subject to terms and conditions, blah, 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 no later than 730 days following the date of this agreement. Commenced construction shall mean material and substantial work on the project pursuant to the permits, licenses, approvals, and consents required by the laws, blah, 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 such as installation of footings and foundations, not mere excavation work. By that time, December 2024, they had not even excavated. They had not torn down the houses. They were just boarded up and left and not mowed. So I don't understand. I was a composition teacher for several years, and I heard a lot about like, oh, I missed the deadline. I didn't know that that was the deadline, even though it was clearly noted on the syllabus. To me, it seems preposterous that a developer would come up here and say, we didn't know that that was the deadline. Sorry. Also, I had checked with the Planning and Building Office in December of 2024, and they had not, I3 had not filed a single permit with them. And then last spring, as I understand, this board told them to fill in those foundations, that was something. So
I went and asked them to
you were
remove
there on the
them, and
property.
they've not done it
They
yet.
have not done that. That seems, frankly, disrespectful. That even to this board, the highest in the county, they go, And as far as, okay, the September when the Plan Commission voted to begin the rezone process, a lot of action started happening. The neighbors were contacted by the DNR that they were going to start working on construction with this bridge. It was the first that the DNR had heard of it, or the neighbors. I3 made a listing on LoopNet to sell their property. And this was on October 17th, and they have a nice plan and all of this. Mr. Dickerson mentioned that they were making some changes to the plan, that's what they were working on, if I understood him correctly, which first of all seems odd that they would be making changes to a plan that was approved by the county. Also, as far as those plans being changed, this is identical to what is on the EDA. The same square footage, the same setup. The only thing I could see, and it's a little blurry on the EDA, so I'll have to look at it closer, but I think here on the LoopNet listing, this is building 1 and this is building 2. On the EDA, this was building 1 and this was building 2. So those were the changes that they've been working on for the last 3 years. So I will just finish by saying that I3 is not a good project for Hancock County, and they have demonstrated this every single step of the way. This room was filled with remonstrators. Nearly 1,000 Hancock County residents signed a petition against it. I just hope you take this under consideration during this 30 days. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you. And we take it seriously. We want to make
I know
sure
you
we
do.
the right things, because we have to come back and ask the county residents out of their pocket for a definitely take it serious.
Thank you, sir.
Any other public comment?
Oh.
About the power generation, George Langston,
I don't know if you made, Bill, it was on WIBC yesterday. They were talking about small nuclear generations, power generations coming to the state. I don't know if you guys were aware of that or not.
There's been legislation passed at the State House to start that process for small nuclear, facilities, and then by the time anybody would potentially have something like that in their community, process and permitting and they would have to go through a 10-year process. Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't catch the gentleman's name on WIBC, but he said that it's coming real soon, and they're working with the Indiana economic development, makes this stuff happen here in the area and stuff. So I just wanted to ask if you knew about it and all that kind of stuff.
I hear a lot of it too from the governor. Governor Braun speaks about
I'm not totally against nuclear power, but you got to have a lot of regulation, and you got to have a really good safety team. Make sure that nothing goes wrong with one of them things and stuff, because it doesn't take long for you to get irradiated.
I would say if it's here, it will be well beyond our times.
Yeah.
When that comes.
All right. Have a good day.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks, George.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.